You mentioned earlier about making weird comparisons. Do you make weird comparisons with music?
All the time. All the time. Where I really learned to do it was my high school teacher, who was essentially my second mom, Kim Fraser. And she would come up with like the most ridiculous comparisons. So, like, we'd be playing a piece, and because you would do it in a band, yep. Right? She'd be like, "Hey, picture you are like a Viking on like the edge of a ship, and like the waves are splashing in your face," and all of a sudden we play better because we all had like this unified vision of what we were trying to have this piece project. Mm-hmm. Right? So I really learned that, you know, to teach somebody music, sometimes you have to step into something that is ridiculous to maybe convey your message, and sometimes you have to find something that's a bit more relatable, right? So a lot of times when I have my students who start a piece for their first time, the most common thing that they do is they start too fast.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, take your time. I'm like, you gotta picture, like, if you're driving down the road and you know, let's say I invite you to my cottage for the first time, right? If the speed limit is 100, you're probably gonna go 105 the first time that you go. And the reason why is because you don't wanna miss the exit, right? You don't know where you're going yet. So slow down. Take the time to read the signs and figure out but if this is the 20th time that you come to my cottage, you can start speeding it up. I do not endorse dangerous driving. Do you know what I mean? Like, you become more familiar with where you're going, mm-hmm. So now you can start challenging yourself in that respect. But when you're just kind of starting out and it's brand new to you, what's the rush? You're just gonna mess up. You're gonna miss your exit. You're gonna have to turn around. You're gonna have to try again, mm-hmm. Right? So sometimes when I lay out like something like that, it makes them understand rather than me just going, slow down because you're gonna mess up on the next note. Mm-hmm. You know, that's not relatable to them because they haven't done it yet. Where a lot of my adults have missed exits. You know, they know exactly what that's right, what that's like. So, but I would attribute that skill to my high school music teacher because she made me understand music in a way that I don't think people would think as musical, right? It's mm-hmm. like, when you think of music, you don't really picture yourself as like, hey, you're a Viking. Okay, mm-hmm. You know, this is a war scene. You know, you're on the front lines. What's about to happen, right? Now portray that, right? And I've taken that mindset into my own songwriting now. It's like, okay, like if I want to communicate this message, then I have to put myself in this person's shoes mm-hmm. and try and convey that message, that story that I'm trying to tell. If I'm trying to talk about war in a song, right? Like, you have to make it as believable as possible, and the way that you make it believable as possible is you put yourself in a situation that you make it believable. Does it make sense? Yeah. Like if I'm going to talk about war, then I need to picture war. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't, I'm not going to be picturing like a meadow. Mm-hmm. You know, you're just going to have the wrong image. So sometimes like attaching imagery before you even start helps you shape the notes that you're going to choose. Because you're like, does that sound like war? Does that sound aggressive? Does that sound like what the thing that you're trying to convey? Where if you're like playing blues or jazz, maybe you still want to talk about war, but you want to talk about it differently.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to change the image that you are trying to project. So I think when I thought about music before, I always thought about what is the artist trying to make me picture. But as I entered the artist's shoes, it was like, okay, what do I have to picture to be able to get my audience to picture something?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
100%. And it's funny because I think I'm pretty sure everyone has started at that 4, 5, 6-year-old stage where just their imagination goes wild and they imagine that they're the Prince of Persia,
right?
Or they're a cowboy, or they're, you know, a knight in the rebellion, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's just at least it gives them a starting point where they imagine something like that, picturing something, and then okay, well, what would I want to hear if I saw this?
Right. Yeah, and I think what a lot of music teachers lack, and like I said, I only learned that skill when I was older, was, you know, music is painting airwaves, right? It's a temporary picture that is constantly reformed and repurposed, and you know, it's not like a canvas where you make it and it's there. It can be if you have like published work and you can press play in that, but if you're just playing for playing's sake, you are constantly decorating the air around you.
Yep.
You know, so I think a lot of people kind of miss that component and just go, okay, play the right note, play them at the right time. You know, but sometimes you have to play with the right feeling, and sometimes you have to, well, you always have to play with the right feeling. Sometimes you have to picture something other than the guitar or whatever in your hands to make yourself a little bit more believable.
For sure.